This is Brand Rescue, a marketing and PR podcast for businesses who want the real deal, not trendy fluff or complicated funnels. From PR to paid ads, we share free advice that actually works because mediocre marketing is so last season. If you're ready, your marketing comeback starts right now. Hey friends, welcome back. I am excited for today's interview. This has been a long time in the making, and actually it's our first time to meet and connect. So you're going to get a super real conversation. I'm so excited to introduce you to our guest. Her name is Molly Cahill. She's an Instagram strategist and agency owner for local health professionals. Hey Molly, welcome to the show.
Hello, welcome. Yeah, somehow our paths connected when we both lived in Pensacola years ago, and it's funny how people stay in your online periphery and you're like, oh,
Oh my gosh, I had a guest on the show, I guess about a month ago. And right before we hit record, I was like, hey, where are you based out of? And she was like, oh, Fort Walton Beach. And I was like, what? I was like,
yeah, it's
I've
not
been
even like
following
that's
you
a
for
big
years.
place.
Never realized that. And I lived in Destin for like 14 years. So neighbors and never knew it, but same with you and I.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. I'm excited to talk a little bit about health today. I don't know if we've had someone who focuses on health, which is why we were like, God, we should have Molly come on the show to speak to all of our health professionals that are out there listening. So why don't we kick it off? And I want to hear a little bit about you. Tell everybody about who you are and how you started your business.
So it was one of those, it wasn't really, I never like set out to be like, because the majority of my clients are chiropractors. I have a lot of acupuncturists, functional medicine as well, but it just so happens that it's like 80% chiropractors. So I'm like, I never sat down one day and was like, you know what? I'm going to start a business that does Instagram for chiropractors. You know what I mean? It's just so niche. Like I did not mastermind this whole thing, but as with anything in life, like these opportunities kind of present themselves to us. So, my degree is actually in PR, which I was telling you before we hit record. I'm from Alabama. I went to University of Alabama, and I did a PR internship, didn't love it. And this was back in the early 2000s. And then my first job out of college was I sold advertising in a newspaper. So you can imagine that was tough, very tough. Then I was in medical sales for 6 years, which was amazing. But that's kind of what leads me to where I am now. So what I sold was a product that was used by pain and addiction clinics. So I was inside of these pain clinics and addiction clinics all day, every day for 6 years. And that coupled with a lot of things that were happening in my personal life, to my own health, my family's health, I was like, what? It's kind of like Wizard of Oz when they reveal who Oz is, and you're like, oh no, nobody's coming to help us. They don't know anything. This is terrifying. You know what I mean? When you're kind of quote behind the scenes in these doctors' offices, you're like, oh crap.
You saw behind the curtain.
I saw behind the curtain, and it ain't good. You know what I mean? So, and obviously I was seeing the worst of the worst, right? I was in the pain clinic, and so years before I had even started that medical sales job, I'd had really terrible sciatica, so back pain that radiated down to my, oftentimes even all the way down to my foot. And this was in my early 20s.
Ooh.
And I had sold an ad. I told you I had that ads job to a chiropractor. And my family wasn't a chiropractic family. We were a take an ibuprofen family. And so my regular doctor's solution was here's a muscle relaxer, which I couldn't take a muscle relaxer and go to work. I had no solution. It's excruciating back pain. And so this chiropractor was like, I can help you. And I'm like, wink, wink. Sure, buddy. I'm sure you can't, you know what I mean? Totally didn't believe the guy, but I went to him because he was my client. And 2 adjustments later, I had 0 back pain. And I was like, huh. So that kind of planted the seed. I was like, wow, do people know about this? Is this a thing? So I would continue to get adjusted, only as needed, as I was in pain through, because in sales, you're in your car all the time, you're carrying heavy bags, you're all this stuff. And then fast forward, I was very burnt out with my corporate job. I got pregnant with my daughter. My husband, we did not time it well. He deployed when I was 38 weeks pregnant for 6 months.
Oh no.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, I was working 80-hour weeks, nights, weekends, holidays, hotels, I
Mhm.
was gone all the time. So I was like, well, I can't keep up this lifestyle and have a baby and my husband be deployed. We have no family here. We were in San Diego at the time. And so I quit my job. I like just literally was driving down. I was in Rodeo Drive. I will never forget in LA. That was part of my territory. And I'm from Alabama. So it's just hilarious. So I'm like
Yeehaw.
Rodeo Drive and I quit. It was like a movie moment. I was like, I quit. So I was 14 weeks pregnant because I had socked away a bunch of cash because I was like, I can't do this forever. So I didn't know
Yeah.
what my plan was. I just knew it wasn't that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So quit my job. Uh, when my daughter, fast forward, my daughter was like 10-ish months. I was like, I cannot be a stay at home mom. This is the hardest thing I've ever done. Um, my chiropractor at the time in San Diego was young, adorable. She and I had become a good friend of mine. She goes, "Hey, well, I know you're like wanting to work again, but like you don't know what you want to do. Like, would you want to help me with my Instagram?" And I'm like, "Sure." Like, I think I post on mine like maybe a photo of us like out to dinner twice a month or something. You know what I mean? Like, I had no, even though I had this background in sales and marketing, it was very foreign to me. So, like, I
Yeah.
took 3 courses, I learned how to do it. Like, yeah, and the proverbial rest is history. Like, she and I, a few months into working together, kind of posted a photo together on my Instagram. And like, one of her friends texted her and was like, "Hey, is your girl worth it?" Like, and she's one of my clients to this day, which is hilarious. Shout out Dr. Fatty if you're listening to this. That was 7 years ago. So yeah, it's just wild how it snowballed. Now, I will say when I did first start, that's when I was in your area, in Pensacola
Mhm.
area. And I went to Chamber of Commerce stuff. Like I had a lot of local clients. Like after we didn't live in San Diego long when after I started the business and then I moved to Pensacola. And I had like a realtor and a hairstylist and all of that. And I just didn't love it. Like I just really kept gravitating towards the health accounts.
Mhm.
And so that's when I really like doubled down and was like, oh, okay. And then it just kind of, like I said, it just kind of snowballed from there.
Oh my gosh. So now you've been doing this 7 years?
Yep. Officially started my business. Yeah. 7 years.
Oh my gosh. So that allows you to like really learn and dive into what they're doing and kind of what their needs are. What are the like, every industry has its like little hookups and hangups
Mm.
and things that they struggle with. What do you see the most for your chiro and I would say your health clients in general?
It's so funny. It's a little bit different for each one. So like with my chiropractors, it's a lot of like, um, it depends on where they went to school, but a lot of them have this like training of like, we don't treat symptoms. We restore vitality in the body and allow the body to, I'm like, that's cool. Good luck marketing that. Like, no
Yeah.
one is Googling, how do I restore my vitality at 2 a.m.?
Yeah.
Like, so I kind of came in and shook things up. Like sometimes when I speak at the more like they call them like principled chiropractors, like I'll speak at their events and they kind of like look at me like because I'm like,
Yeah.
no, we got to talk about the symptoms
Yeah.
that your patients are experiencing because they're like, well, we don't want them just being symptom chasers and coming in. I'm like, that's great. That's on you to educate them once they come into your office about like long term care. Cause like now I go once a week no matter how I feel because I just feel better when I go consistently.
Mhm.
But I'm like, that's because someone finally educated me on like, this is why you feel better, right? So
Yeah.
for like I said, for the chiropractors, it's a lot about like taking off the philosophy and being like, that's great. I understand what you do is bigger than like, I treat back pain. But if that's what someone's experiencing in the moment, that's what your marketing has to say.
Dude, one of
And
the
it's
best things, like,
yeah.
someone ever told me was, I hate negative marketing, you know what I mean? That's
Uh-huh.
like, "Don't do this and don't do that," and, like,
Yeah.
fear-based marketing. I hate
Yes, me too.
that, but you know what? It freaking works. Maybe not
Uh-huh.
fear-based, but pain-based. It
Mhm.
does. Somebody once told me, like, an example of know what's gonna get you to go to the gym sooner. You see someone on TV who's got a rockin' hot body and, like, abs and in a bikini looking so amazing, and it's like, "I can help you look like me." Is that gonna get you in the gym? Or how about when you try to go put on your jeans and they won't freaking zip or button? What's gonna
Mhm.
get your ass in the gym? The
Mhm.
pain of looking in the mirror and being like, "I can't get these jeans to zip.
Yeah.
These are $180 jeans, and I
Yeah.
can't get them to s" and it's not even about the money for the jeans, it's about the way
Yeah.
you feel. It's like, that is far more motivating than, you know, the prize of these sexy abs, you know?
100%. And like you said, I actually preach, I will get on my pedestal all day about fear-based, because fear is different, like you said, than pain point, because I'll see sometimes it's like, "This thing is destroying your child's health," or whatever. I'm like, "No." We're not going like, that's no one comes in a place of empowerment when you're like, you can say, "Hey, are you tired of being on your 3rd round of antibiotics just this year?" Like, that's a little different than like, "This is
Uh-huh.
destroying your child's gut microbiome." I'm like, "Ah!" Like, that terrifies me. But, I do totally agree with you, and two, the other big thing is nobody wants to show, not nobody, but, like, it's hard, especially too with my acupuncturist. It's like nobody wants to show their face. They're like, I don't wanna be salesy. I'm just in the business of helping people." And
Mhm.
so I have to tell them, like, "A, you quite literally have your hands on me, and there's not a photo of you on your website. It's someone frolicking through a field or, like, a stock image of someone getting a massage." Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, there's gotta be a
uh
trust level, you know?
yes, yes, like, yeah, so with and two, like, I would say still, which I'm on a mission to change that these things aren't mainstream, but, like, what many of my clients are doing is not mainstream, so you have to show it. You have to take away that level of fear, because
Mhm.
don't even get me started on the TikTok aggressive popping videos, because that is not the type of client I serve.
Oh
Like
god.
the chiropractic popping, that is not my client. That
I have
scares more
not
people.
seen this.
Don't Google it. You'll be forever scarred of,
Okay.
what will come up in your algorithm forever. Or don't, look it up on Instagram. So yeah, but like I said, getting people to like show their face, and I have to kind of reframe quote sales for them of like, you think you're doing someone a favor by not talking about what you do, because you're like, oh, I just want to be salesy. I'm like, you're actually being selfish, because you're letting your own discomfort get in the way of their healing. And they're usually like, oh crap. I'm like, yeah, I do this not because it's fun to post on Instagram. I do this because there's someone in your community who doesn't know you exist, and you could be the key to like finally helping them feel better.
Right? And if you are
And
dedicated to helping people, you'll open your mouth and tell them
yeah,
how you can help.
yeah. I mean, and the same thing even goes, this goes beyond marketing, but like once you get into, I mean, this goes beyond external marketing. This is like what I would call internal marketing. Tell me what you think. But once they come into your office and they're like, okay, well, what's my plan? Like, okay, I've had this problem for this long, and this is what's going on. Like, well, what do you recommend? And I'll get a lot of clinicians or practitioners who are like, well, just come when you feel see how you feel. And I'm like, no, like,
They're
I'm not
looking
saying
for
you need to
your
sell.
guidance.
Yeah, I'm not saying you have to sell someone this giant package of something they don't need. But if you know that just coming to see you one time, I've just wasted $65 because I just came once, you're doing me a disservice by not pushing past your own discomfort of being like, "Hey, here's my expert recommendation.
Yeah.
You've had this problem for 10 years. Oh, I need you to come this many times and this many." So yeah, those are probably the biggest things I see.
Same, and I see businesses that have on their website, "What do you need help with? A, B, C, D, E." And I'm like, if they knew what they needed help with, you know what I mean? Like, they know what their pain is, but sometimes they don't know what they truly need help with. All they
Mm-mm.
know is their pain, right? So if
Right.
you put the ball in their court and say, "What do you need help with? Sciatica, blah, blah, blah." I don't know all these terms, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
they don't freaking know if they have sciatica.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what they're coming to you for. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, why are you asking them what they need help with? It's like we pay money to an expert to guide us first and foremost.
Yeah, and that's why I always tell my clients too. I'm like, listen, like I'm not a practitioner. Actually, I just had somebody in my DMs 2 weeks ago who was like, "Oh, this whole time I thought you were a doctor." I'm like, "I am not." I always say I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night. You remember those commercials? I'm like, I just pretend to be one on Instagram. But no, I'm like, I am your ideal patient, right? Like my daughter gets adjusted, I get adjusted, I get acupuncture, I work with a gut health like specialist who's an RN. Like I do all of these things. So I come at it from my lens of like my lived experience as your ideal patient, which is a very different place than like I'm a practitioner and like here's what I think is getting people in my door.
Mhm. And, it's, as a marketing PR person, but also their ideal client, I feel like that's,
Mhm.
like, literally match made in heaven, and sometimes when clients call us, before I ever have an initial phone conversation with them, I go just as Whitney wearing my consumer hat with no backstory knowledge. I go scope out all their stuff because once you know the backstory of the practice or the client or whatever, you can't unknow what you know, right? And then you see it from a different angle. So I love to go first and foremost and just look at a business as a consumer to be like, what do I think these people do? And what's my impression of this person, you
I'm so
know?
happy you said that. I'll do Instagram profile audits. And when I first started, I would like go to their website. I'd ask them, what's your
Mm,
main client? And then I was like, wait a minute. No, no, I want to go in here blind.
mhm.
First impression. Wait, what do you do? like,
Yeah.
restoring that I help families restore vitality.
I don't even know what the hell that means.
I don't either.
I mean, I know what vitality means, but it's like, really, at the end of the day, like, what am I paying you for?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not
You
Googling
know?
how to live my best life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's clear, not cute, you know?
yeah.
I've been to so many conferences and I'm a nerd and I listen to podcasts all the time. I read books all the time about business and everything, and one of the best things I ever did was clear, not cute. All the
Hmm.
verbiage on the site needs to be 100% clear. We try to be cute, or maybe we try to use these big professional words so that we sound intelligent and everyone knows that I have a master's degree from Florida State University. Like, I am
Yeah.
educated. No, at the end of it, nobody knows what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Nobody's really clear on what you do. Nobody's probably going to hire you because they're intimidated to ask and look stupid. So you've really done absolutely no service to the people that are listening or reading or for yourself. So it's like, why not just be direct with people? And I was like, wow,
Yeah.
that's the most freeing thing I've ever heard because
Hmm.
I'm pretty direct and I just enjoy that, you know?
Yeah. I know that's what I tell a lot of my clients who are like naming programs and stuff. I'm like, nobody knows what that means.
Nope. Nope. No, you got to use it's like after I've been doing this for 13 years now. Like, I left my corporate job 13 years ago. And it's really so much about listening to what your patient, or in my case, clients, say and using
Hmm.
their verbiage.
Ooh, okay. Let me give you my favorite thing I've been doing then with my clients, if I may.
Yeah, let's do it.
So the very first lesson, I have a membership where I'll teach either the practitioner themselves, depending on where they are in their business, or I call it their plus one. So whether they, it's their front desk staff, their assistant, sometimes I'm teaching like a nephew. Like I've got all different people. The first lesson I teach now is for them to upload their Google reviews into like I have them create an AI project that we use as like the hub for all their social content. And
Uh-huh.
one of the things I have them uploaded to that AI project is their Google reviews. And I'll ask AI when writing the content to reflect back the language from the Google reviews into this post.
Dude, that's freaking genius.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, this is literally the words that your people are using when they review you. So,
Mm,
and that's the other thing we do when someone's really stuck, they're like, I don't know what to post. I'm like, your EHR, your electronic health records, is telling you exactly what to post about. You have
mhm.
all this data; it's just sitting right there. Look
Yeah.
up your last 10 new patients. Obviously cross out the ones who you were like, this isn't something I love to see, but whatever. Like X those out. What did they write as their chief complaint? There's your
Yeah.
post. It's not hard. Did they put pregnancy hip pain? Then you do a post on pregnancy hip pain.
I mean, yeah.
It's not hard,
Y-
you know?
Yeah, people are telling you what their
Mhm.
problems are, and for some reason we're making it far more complicated
Mhm.
than it needs to be.
And then you double down. My friend Mia Fileman, she's a brilliant marketer. She has an Australian marketing firm. And says, marketing isn't saying 100 different things, it's saying the same thing 100 times. So I'm like, all right, well, we'll just keep doubling down on the stuff that we know is getting people to pick up the phone and book an appointment.
Exactly. And I also tell our clients too with social, they're like, I feel like this is so repetitive. And I'm like, hey, need I remind you of a little thing called the algorithm?
Mhm.
The algorithm is this annoying little bot that only makes our stuff be visible to certain people, a small
Mhm.
number of people. So the chances of, let's say you're doing 3 or 4 posts per week, the chances of all 4 of your posts coming into that person's feed every single week, that ain't happening.
Mm-mm.
Straight up. Even probably your, like, most avid followers that are really engaging and liking and commenting on everything, the chances that they see every single one of your posts is slim to none.
Oh, yeah,
So
there's no way, yeah. Yeah, so and people learn differently, right? So, like, I'll often tell people to repurpose content, so I'm like, "Okay, if this did really well as a reel, let's make it a carousel."
uh-huh.
And the question I always get is, "Well, how far do I space it apart?" Already overthinking.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. You could do it back to back. You could do it 2 weeks apart. Your results will probably not be different. in my experience. Someone else might have that's what I've seen.
I agree
Um
because I think that the algorithm knows what types of content we engage in. Like,
Mhm.
oh, and they put us on these little imaginary lists. So, for example, Whitney seems to like and comment and share lots of reels. So they're going to keep serving me with reels. However, Molly
100%.
seems to really flip through all these carousels. So
Yep.
Molly goes on the list of carousel readers. And naturally, the algorithm wants to serve you with things that you interact with, right? Because they're trying to keep you on the platform. So naturally, you and I are going to see different content, even if it's posted on the same freaking day.
And you know what I hate is even though I know how the sausage is made, I still get sucked in. Like,
I know.
I will open Instagram just to look up a hashtag for a client or look up, like, respond to a DM. And I'm like, oh, she's gone. She's lost forever because
Same. Down
it
the rabbit hole.
knows. Like, when we were going to Disney, I was looking up, I'd never been to Hollywood Studios. It was like the one park we hadn't been to. So it's like all of a sudden, all my feed, it's not just Disney, it's Hollywood Studios Disney. Like, that's how I was telling my friend yesterday, I'm gluten free, not by choice. And I was looking, we're going to Disney again in a couple weeks. And I started looking at gluten free Disney. I'm getting like that is the type of like, that's how niche content has gotten.
Mhm. Oh, I don't doubt
It's
that.
wild how fast your algorithm learns. And it's scary in a way, I'm not gonna lie, like, everything that's going on in Minneapolis, like, I still was like, "Okay, I need to be informed. Let me, like, actually I don't want to do this, but, like, let me just make sure I know what's going on." And then all of a sudden, it was like, post after post after post after post after post, and I was like, "Oh, okay." You know what I mean? Taylor Swift's new album comes out, I'm looking at that, now all my feed is Taylor Swift, like, it learns so fast, and I think people like, I can't one of my, you probably can totally resonate with this. I hate marketing clickbait. It's like, "Algorithm secrets revealed." It's like,
Oh my god.
or Instagram's newest algorithm just leaked secretly and they don't want you to know. I'm like,
Really
"Guys, there's
garbage.
literally no secret. There's no secret. There's no elaborate formula." I'll see
Yeah.
people who are like, "In the first 10 minutes, this happens, and then this happens." And I'm like, "Well, maybe, but you need to know none of that. All you
Mm.
need to know." Are you ready? Do I have these keywords? Like, my child, I have a toddler who keeps getting ear infections. So, like, that's what your person is searching. So you're creating content, and then if your content literally says toddler ear infections in Raleigh, like, you've got a Raleigh hashtag, or you've got like the word Raleigh, North Carolina, like where you live over your reel. Like, it's that simple. It's
Yeah.
like Google.
That
It's
and also just
not,
being consistent, you
yeah,
know?
yes, yes, yeah. Like I said, like one time it's not gonna, but what we're seeing, I know we talked about talking about local marketing. If I could talk about that for
Yeah.
on Instagram. Um, what we're really seeing now that Instagram it's a search engine essentially now, which it wasn't before, which is so cool. So no longer do we just like I said, I'm using the ear, that's like a common thing that some of my pediatric chiropractors see a lot is chronic ear infections. So no longer would we be like ear infection. Like now it's like moms of toddlers who are getting ear infections in Raleigh. Like, you know what I mean? Like, our hooks are like so specific because that's how it's going to get served up.
Mhm.
Like, I live in Cincinnati now, so all I did was start searching a few like things to do in Cincinnati type accounts.
Mhm.
And now my feed shows me all kinds of stuff to do in Cincinnati all the time without even asking. You know what I
It's
mean?
so nice. Actually, if other people get annoyed by it, I'm like, "God, this is great." Like,
No, I
it's just
love it.
like
Curate my life
offering.
for me.
Yeah, right? My feed, if anybody's wondering about Whitney and her interests, it's like cute fingernail design, puppies, delicious food, things to do in Phoenix, elaborate
Yeah.
trips around the world. Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty much me. Oh, and then, like, skincare stuff too. I follow all the derms that, like, post
Yeah.
all the skincare products and stuff. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So like I said, it's not that hard. Like, I just did a whole episode on my podcast about hashtags and keywords. And I'm like, it's not difficult. There's no elaborate formula. It is quite literally, oh, I see athletes in Phoenix, high school athletes actually, who are trying to get into college and play D1 sports. And I'm trying to help them avoid shoulder surgery. Like, then that's the type of content you create. Like, it's really not that hard.
Mhm. Yep.
And you put all those
Yep.
keywords in your caption over your video. I mean, you write it obviously in a way
Yeah.
that sounds, but and it will get to the people it's supposed to get to that way.
Yeah. I know, earlier you and I were chatting about, like, the ultimate end game is, like, how to get new patients and then also how to
Mhm.
stay in front of the patients that already know and love you. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, like, I see a lot of focus, especially in the health and wellness space of new patients, new patient special, new patient. They're like obsessed with getting new people in the door, but
Mhm.
maybe not so much of engaging the people that have already been a patient or a client. I don't know. Is that something you see a lot of?
100% the ultimate cheat code. You ever have advice you give over and over and over and over and over in your business, and it's like the one thing that everyone ignores, and you're like hitting your head against a wall? You're like, but just give me a viral hook. I'm like, cool. Like, I'm not saying messaging matters a ton, right? Stopping someone's scroll, extremely important. That's a whole other topic. But if you can't get them to take action, and then once they've taken action, retain them, what is it, 7 times cheaper, I think, across most industries, right, to retain a
Mhm.
client than it is to get new? I was just speaking with a client last week. I do these like 1 hour, like pick my brain calls for people who don't quite know. They're like, I'm just stuck. Like, let's just get on the call. And she said, well, my final straw was one of my long-term patients started taking her kids to the chiropractor down the street, even though we are more qualified. They hold more pediatric certifications than the person
Mhm.
down the street, but the person down the street was putting more pediatric videos on their Instagram. Their own dang patient.
Mhm.
And she's like, "That was my
Got
final
snatched
straw." I'm
up.
like,
Yeah.
"Well, could have,
Yeah, I always preach, even the people who know and love you will forget about you, or they'll
Mhm.
get tempted away by your competitor who is all the time. The people who win in business are not always the most qualified, the most skilled. They are the people who are the best marketers.
Mhm.
And so it's like, unfortunately, you gotta have a good mixture of both. You have to have a strategy of getting new people, but you also have to have a strategy of staying in front of and re-engaging your people, or they get snatched up by the next shiny object.
Well, and two, so many of my clients, not every one of them, but a lot of them have ancillary services of some type. They sell supplements, they have red light, they do cupping you know what I mean? And it's like
Mhm.
these are all these little things that your current people might not even know that you have. Or I think about my husband. My daughter and I go to my chiropractor and get adjusted often, but my husband doesn't. So like, what internal marketing campaigns do you have to get my husband in the door? Like,
Mm.
hey, bring a family member. Like these are all really simple ways to increase, not just increase revenue, but like help get your name out there as being, I always say, like the language I always use in my marketing is become the local authority, become the
Mm.
go-to practitioner in your area that's like, Whitney, you know what?
Yep,
That's who, go see my guy or go see my girl.
yep.
Like that's how you do that. So yeah, and even like I know I do email some too. So I got my hair done Saturday and I told my hair girl is the owner of the salon. And I used her salon email as like one of my green screen reels. I was like, Alicia, this is so simple and it's so genius. All they did was send out an email that's like, we have some openings this upcoming week. Come get your hair and nails done. And I picked up the phone and called because it had been on my to-do list because
Mhm.
my daughter needs a trim. And it's literally on my to-do list, like make MJ a hair appointment. And I like kept forgetting. And then I got that email. And it's
Yep.
like, ah. So I tell my clients, I'm like, every Sunday night, email out your appointment openings for the week. And they're
Yeah,
like,
that's a great idea.
I literally had somebody go, well, what do I say? I'm like, what do you mean? What do you say? You just say, there's my open appointments this week.
Clear, not cute, homie.
They want to
Clear, not
unsubscribe. They can
cute.
unsubscribe.
Yeah. Oh
So,
my
yeah,
gosh. It's so amazing working with businesses, especially of people that are truly skilled experts, because they're so ingrained in the business. And we, as marketers, PR people, we see it so clearly of like, just do this, just do this. But they're this is
in
exactly
it.
why they have to
Yeah.
have a Molly, or they have to have a Whitney that is their somewhat removed from the business to be able to say, this is what I see, and this is to pull them along, because otherwise it's so easy for business owners to just get wrapped up in the operations because they love what they do?
Well, I'm sure you even see this in your own business. Like, I have a brilliant business coach I'm working with right now. And I was like, I'm embarrassed to ask you this, but I need ideas for my Instagram for my upcoming masterclass because I'm too in it.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm like, I feel embarrassed that I should even ask you this question because this is what I could teach a client what to do, but my brain is like too
Uh-huh.
in the weeds. So it's not like you're doing anything wrong. It's just like the nature of how it
You
is because
can't
she's like,
see the label from inside the bottle, right?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
You're inside the bottle and you're like, "Can someone please just read the label to me?" You
yeah,
know?
yeah.
But I think it's so helpful to have, the outside opinion, the outside expertise of somebody that will shoot you straight,
Hmm.
and help push you to do what you need to do.
I will say, if I leave you with anything, it's just like often you're just making it more difficult than it really has to be. Like it doesn't have to
Mhm.
be usually anything super elaborate. Like your data is right there in front of you. Even if you're somebody who's not a health business who's listening to this, where did your last 10 new clients come from? What
Yeah.
why did they come to
Follow
you?
that. Yeah.
That's it.
Follow
It's that
that.
simple.
And the beautiful thing, speaking specifically on social media of making it harder than it needs to be, it used to be we curated images and everything were just if you
Oh.
wanted to be taken seriously. And now that's like out the window. Like people love native style. I do like snippets on your marketing heroes Instagram, and it's literally me walking to the gym. Like I have
Mhm.
headphones on, carrying a
Mhm.
water bottle, and it's me selfieing and just talking, and those get better engagement than me in the
Yes.
pod studio, like, all dressed up in business attire. No, people want real, you know?
Yep, my podcast reels that are, like, edited by an editor and all this, like, they get the fewest amount of views than the ones yesterday. I was eating like a not a Reese, it was like a the skinny dip Reese type cups. I'm like, "Eating my Reese cup," and I'm, like, telling them a post idea, and it's like, "Oh, Molly's here." It's psychology, right, though? You're like, "Oh, Whitney's here. I can talk
Yeah,
back to her and she'll
yep,
respond," versus, like, this was clearly made and edited
for
probably
advertising purposes.
days ago, weeks
Mhm.
ago.
Touche, yeah, and also it feels like an ad, the moment
Mhm.
something feels like an ad, it they're not gonna respond to it. It's you munching on a salad, that doesn't feel like an ad, that just feels like you hopping on and giving me the scoop,
Like, "Yeah,
like
we're
I'm
just
having a
chatting."
conversation. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think, we've gotta stop making it harder than it needs to be and just start making it happen, you know?
Yep, I agree. 100%.
Well,
I'm always like, "You're overthinking it," which my people probably that's always my first, "Okay, first of all, you're overthinking it." I
yes.
know you're gonna say I'm overthinking it.
Yeah, and you're like, "That's what I'm here for, to help push you through when you're trying to make excuses." Like, "No, get in front of the camera, let's do it."
Well, I
So,
always say too, remember that whatever you're creating on Instagram is so fleeting. Like, this is not a heirloom piece of art that's hanging over your family's mantle for years to come. You know what I mean? Like, get it up. Look at everything as a test.
yeah, yeah, you're
Did
getting
this
data.
work? I don't know.
Yep,
Maybe. If it does, do it again. If it doesn't, don't do it again.
there you go. Yeah, it's not like you're being charged per post,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know? Let's not give any ideas to Zuckerberg, you
Yeah.
know? So,
Man, we make
well,
them enough money just by sending so
f
much traffic there,
y
I feel like.
no kidding, so well, Molly, this has been so awesome. I appreciate you taking time to come on the show. I definitely want to give you the chance. Tell everybody if they want to connect with you or if they want to listen to your podcast or if they want to learn more about the agency. Tell them how to find you.
Yes. So my podcast is just called Holistic Marketing Simplified. It's everywhere you listen to podcasts. My Instagram is Molly A. Cahill, and that is Cahill. Some sweet person DM'd me and was like, I've been listening to your podcast, and I this whole time thought your name was like the letter K, and then like hill, like mountain, like they're like, and I couldn't find you. I'm like, yes, so yeah,
K period Hill.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So Molly Cahill, that's me on Instagram. I'm very active in my DMs. Come say hi. I won't think you're weird. It'll just make me happy.
Hey, that's how
Yeah,
we got you here, isn't it?
yeah, yep. So yeah, I've got a membership, um, where I can train somebody. I also do a group coaching program two times a year, and then we also have an agency. Although right now we're fortunate enough to be on quite a wait list for the agency, but I am looking to expand soon. It's just a lot of work, as you know.
God, there's not enough time on this podcast to discuss that.
Well,
I
you don't want it's like my name, right? You don't want to lose the quality. And I've had people be like, "Oh, just hire all these fee." I'm like, "No, it's not that. I can't just no, no." Like, so yeah. So we've got all of the different ways, but I will say probably one of my favorite, if I leave you with a free resource, is I have pinned post templates that you can pin to the top of your Instagram profile. So like when people come and they're like, I know exactly what they do, all the information's there. And that's just mollycahill.com/pinned. And it's like these Canva templates you can plug and play your own
Love
stuff into.
it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, y'all. We will drop all of Molly's info and links in the show notes. So y'all make sure to head over, tell her hi, and thank her for all the free advice today. So Molly, this was awesome. Thank you so much again for taking time to come on the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, y'all. We will see you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in to Brand Rescue. For more practical marketing and PR support, head to yourmarketingheroes.com.